Janelle McDonald, Tyler Butler,
Hello, hello.
I can
Mic
hear you
check.
perfectly.
Sounds good to me.
Mike. Good evening, College Park. This is WMUC Sports. I am your co-host, Kari McKenna, alongside Sydney Schwartz, with our sideline reporter, Peter Kelly, today. Here at the Xfinity Center, we have the Maryland Terrapins against the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. We are in for a close game today, with the Maryland Terrapins being 4-0, and the Bethune-Cookmans never having played against the Maryland Terrapins before, so this should be an interesting game this evening.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. Bethune-Cookman's 1-3 right now. Maryland, as we said, 4-0. I'm not sure how close this game will be, considering Maryland being ranked number 9 in the standings and Bethune-Cookman without that rank. So, sure to be an interesting one.
We are getting ready for kickoff in just a few minutes. And our starting lineups for Maryland, we have Kayleen Smickle, Sailor Poffenberger, Alucci Okinawa, Kendall Walker, and Yarden Garzon. As for the Wildcats this evening, we have Damoni Dorsey, Alexandria Johnson, Madison Holden, Chanel McDonald, and Sinai Tyler. We should be getting started here in about 4 minutes, and we will see you all at tip-off. Welcome back. Again, it is Kari and Sydney here with WMUC Sports and Peter Kelly on the sideline. We are getting ready for tip-off right here. Should be occurring in just about 30 seconds, and we will be seeing the first 10 minutes of the Terps versus the Wildcats.
This is So sorry, this is the last game in BCU's 4-game road stretch, and the final one they will play before being home, where they were picked to finish 7th in their preseason poll in the SWAC.
Yes, and this is Maryland's last home game until they hit the road. So we've got two contrasting teams here. And again, these two have never competed against each other before, so this should be an interesting game this evening.
Yeah, I'm sure Maryland are picked as the favorites here. That's not really a surprise, but you never know what could happen.
All right, and tip-off is in just a few seconds here. We've got Poffenberger at the tip-off, and the ball goes straight to Walker. Coming into the circle with Smeichel. And Poffenberger takes it. Takes a shot. Okinawa takes a shot but misses. And the ball makes its way down the other side of the court in the Wildcats' favor. She dribbles about center court, passes it over. We'll see if they make a shot right here, but Okinawa takes it right back to their side of the court and makes a basket in the first 45 seconds of this game. 2 points scored for Okinawa.
So classy from Okinawa on the breakaway. She leads the team in points scored and rebounds, and just for that reason, we can see why.
Yes, she does. She is very often scoring some of the first points in Maryland games, at least for this season so far. And the ball comes back into play with the Wildcats in possession. The ball is slowly making its way back down the court. However, there was a foul called. One against the Wildcats. And the ball will make its way back to the Terps with Garzon in possession for it to come right back in to Okinawa. Makes its way over to, I think I missed who just made that shot. Sydney, did you see who made that?
That was Okinawa off the rim and bounced out for BCU to pick up the ball.
Missed that, but it is back in the Wildcats' hands, and they are, for the first time this game, making their way into that circle. They're very focused on getting around these Terps. For the most part, it looks like our women's Terps are a bit taller than most of the Wildcats out there, which could prove as a disadvantage throughout this game.
Yeah, there's definitely a height advantage from the Terps. We have Jordan Brooks at 5'3", Madison Holden at 5'6", and that's compared to Yarden Garzon and Sailor Poffenbarger, who lead the team in height.
Absolutely. Most of the Terps out there right now are above 6 feet. But right now, the ball is getting sent to Walker, passed over to Garzon, shoots and almost makes a three-pointer, but it knocks off the rim. That is another foul called against the Wildcats, and it looks like the Terps are getting ready for a free throw. It's a foul against Dorsey for the Wildcats.
Dorsey's going to be somebody to watch for the Wildcats. 2025-26 preseason Defensive Player of the Year. So definitely an important member
so
for the
she
team.
should be some difficult competition for the Terps tonight.
Okinawa misses her first free throw.
She's got her second one right here. She's very focused on that shot. And she makes it through the net. Terps are up to 3 points scored for this game so far. Wildcats currently at 0, but it has only been 2 minutes. They've got a lot of time on this court this evening. The ball unfortunately made its way out of bounds against the Wildcats. Pass was missed, and it looks like the ball is going to be thrown in with Poffenberger. She passes it over to Walker, and that heads straight down the field to Okinawa. Back to Walker. However, the Wildcats have gained possession yet again. They're slowly making their way into that circle. However, the Terps are fully blocking these Wildcats. A shot was made by Holden on the Wildcats team. Unfortunately missed, bounced off the rim. The Terps have some clean passes this evening, and it looks like Garzon just scored another 2 points for the Terps. So we are now 5-0 with 7 minutes left in this first quarter. And the Wildcats are back in possession. We've got Dorsey looking who to pass to, and the ball was knocked out of her hands by Okanwa, brought down the court, and just scored another 2 points for the Terps.
That's another turnover for Bethune-Cookman. They've got to watch out for Okanwa. So speedy on reading those plays.
She is very quick. She is aggressive but clean on the court, and we have seen that the last 4 winning home games here at the Xfinity Center. Garzon back in possession, passes the ball over to Walker, who dribbles it right down the field. Wildcat defense is ready. However, Garzon has just made another basket. 2 points down for Garzon this evening. And on the Terps, it seems that Walker hit the floor. However, Okanwa just has scored 2 more points. We are currently 11-0 with 6 minutes left in this quarter, and we have called a halftime. We will be right back.
Welcome back for WMUC Radio. This is Sydney Schwartz and Kari McKenna. We are just about finished with a timeout, and Bethune-Cookman will be coming up with the ball. The score is 11-0 with 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter as Madison Holden takes hold of the ball. Now Dorsey Dorsey. Blocked by Poffenbarger, but the whistle is blown.
A close shot, but it does seem that the Terps' height is taking advantage of some of these Wildcats.
It's going to be Akanawa for the Terrapins driving down the court.
Very quickly driving down the court, right over to Garzon.
Smichael with the 3. Kayleen Smichael. That was nice. Madison Holden's going to take it up now for BCU. Fakes the pass, finds Pitts, who just subbed in for the Wildcats. Still BCU with the shot off the rim. And Akanawa on the rebound. Plays it all the way forward, but intercepted by BCU. Here comes Dorsey with the shot. Off the rim, and Poffenbarger, all that height, gets the rebound again. Smichael again. Makes the shot, but the whistle's blown. Referee says no basket. It was a travel, that seems to be the call, on Kayleen Smichael. Entering for the Terps, number 9 is Imenme Azimamadou. Taking out Kayleen Smichael. Here comes BCU on the offense. Finds Holden. Holden. Pass all the way across. That's Brooks. Brooks still driving. Makes off the backboard. Whistle's called.
And we have a player down. Is she coming right back up? Got a bit of a limp. It seems that MCU is doing pretty well with their passes, but they can't seem to get past the Terps defense.
Yeah, they are 0 for 4 on field goals in all their attempts, and Maryland right now are 5 of their last 5. Maryland on the ball with Akanawa. That's Walker. Gesturing for her teammates to move around a little bit. Still holding on to the ball is Walker. Akanawa now. Now Poffenbarger all the way across for Garzon. Garzon at the corner finds Poffenbarger wide open for the 3, and she buries it. Our score is now 17-0 with 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. First quarter, sorry, getting ahead of myself. Holden now. Butler. Back to Holden for 3, but that's blocked from Akanawa. Now Poffenbarger to the other end. Finds Garzon. Tries the 3, and it's good again. What are we seeing right now?
Incredible shot from Garzon.
3 for 5 in their 3-point attempts so far, Maryland is. Now Bethune-Cookman gets their first few points on the board.
First 3 this evening, racking up their score. We've got 22-3 with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Wildcats attempting to get around the Terps. However, a foul was just called, I believe, against Okenwa.
We're going to see Mira McLean enter for the Terps.
The ball gets taken up the court, passed over to Garzon. She dribbles in and passes it right over. However, the whistle was called. And that is in the Wildcats' possession here. Starting from their side of the court. Make a few quick passes across the entirety of the court. However, they do have to jump up to get that ball in their hands, and they lost it out of bounds right there.
Something head coach Brenda Freeze prides her Terps on is their aggression in defense, and we keep seeing that here. Just taking advantage of all these turnovers, any opportunity up in the faces of the Wildcat players.
Absolutely. The Wildcats sure seem to be struggling a bit to get around these taller players. The whistle was, however, called again. That is a foul against the Terps. It seemed to be Garzon. As her first personal foul, according to our referee, and she is now off the court for the last 2 minutes of this first quarter. The ball is back in the Wildcats' possession. A three-pointer is attempted, but unfortunately misses, bounces off the rim, and is now back in the Terps' possession. Is passed into the circle. And a three-pointer was just attempted, however, missed by the Terps, and now back in the Wildcats' possession. However, it has just hit the Terps' foot, so is taken out on the Terps and back in the Wildcats' possession. It seems like BCU will definitely have to up their offensive play throughout this game for the next 3 quarters at least to be able to get by these Terps.
100%. Maryland has gotten off to such a great start this season, winning by a double-digit scoring margin and scoring at least 80 points in their last 5 games. And at the way this game is going, it's looking to be a similar scoreline.
I'm expecting the same, Sydney. They are already at 20 points in this first quarter, and they still have a minute and a half left. And they just shot, but unfortunately missed the basket 3 times in a row. And the ball is being brought back up the court by the Wildcats. But I would expect the Terps to be able to score upwards of 80 points this game again as well. We've got a lot of whistle calls from the refs this evening. That could be a mixture of BCU not being as experienced as Maryland and these two teams never having played against each other before. They might not be meshing on the court down there.
Yeah, it's difficult to be in a game where you don't really have much information about the opponent that you can just look up in your past game stats, but Maryland are capitalizing.
Exactly. They seem to be losing this ball quite a bit. Maryland has just made it in the net again, scored 2 more points. That was Walker.
Whistle's blown. That's a foul on Walker, Maryland ball.
Walker takes it up the court. Is approached by Wildcats defense. However, gets it right past, passes it to Okanwa. She dribbles around her opponents, shoots but does not make the basket. Just attempted again, however missed. Ball was made it in the net that 3rd try, but I don't believe it counted for anything. Did it? Make it in?
No, I'm not sure that one counted.
Shucks.
BCU on the ball right now. Here's Brooks.
Bringing it back up to their side of the court. And they scored a few more points in their favor. They are up to 5 with 23 seconds left in the first quarter. We have Maryland at 22 points and BCU at 5. Walker has got the ball. She's bringing it into the circle.
It's another 2 points from Iziazi Mamadou. That is the end of our first quarter. That is the end of our first quarter here at BCU versus the Maryland Terrapins. We have our sideline reporter, Peter Kelly, with some information from the first quarter.
Yeah, thanks, Sydney. Glad to be back with you after a 24-5 dominant Maryland Terrapins effort in the first quarter. Maryland coming off of their 5-0 win over Princeton. They won that game 84-68. They improved to 5-0 on the back of double-digit performances by 4 of their players, including Kayleen Smichael, Addie Mack, Sailor Poffenbarger, and Alucci Okanawa, who led the way yet again with 20 points. Terps only led that game by 4 at halftime before exploding for 50 points in the second half. That helped Maryland score 80 points in their first 5 games for the first time since 2021. Poffenbarger also chipped in a season-high 19 points, including going 4 of 9 from behind the arc. That handed the Princeton their first loss, and the Tigers are generally a very good team. They've made the last 4 NCAA tournaments, including 3 of the last 4 Ivy League titles. So it was good to see the Terps move to 5-0 over a solid squad. Now over to the other side of the court with the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, a private HBCU in Daytona Beach, Florida. They'll make the trip up to College Park, Maryland. They compete in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, or the SWAC. Last year, the Wildcats finished 7th out of 12 teams, 7-11 in the SWAC, and 10-21 overall. They lost in the SWAC first round to end their season to the 10-seed Prairie View A&M by 5 in overtime. Head coach Janelle Creighton enters her 5th season at the helm after numerous previous roles as an assistant coach, including at Kennesaw State, Hampton, and William and Mary. Today is also a bit of a homecoming for one of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats players, senior guard Damony Dorsey. She's a Baltimore native, attended St. Francis Academy in the city where she won 3 IAAM championships. Last year she averaged a shade over 7 points a game, and this year she was selected as the SWAC preseason Defensive Player of the Year. The Wildcats are coming off of a 13-point loss against the Florida International Panthers. That dropped them to 1-3 on the year. Alexandria Johnson led the way in that one for the Wildcats with 23 points. So it's good to have the Wildcats here at Xfinity taking on the Terps. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Peter. We will be back shortly with your second quarter action here on WMUC Radio. Welcome back to WMUC Radio. This is Sydney Schwartz alongside Kari McKenna in our coverage of the Maryland Terrapins versus the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Our score right now is 24-5, Maryland leading, and just another points made, some Bethune-Cookman. We're seeing Ava McKenney enter for the Terps as the score improves to 24-7, still in the Terps' favor. Garzone now finds Okanawa on the 3-point line. Back to Garzone, just loses out on the ball. It's going to be BCU's ball.
Okanawa's had a lot of strong games this season so far. She scored double digits in all 5 games this season and 41 in her entire career.
Yeah, it's been a very impressive start to her Terrapin career, Alucci Okanawa. It's the Wildcats on the ball right now with Brooks. Brooks finds Tyler. Tyler tries the shot, missed, and now being brought back up the other way by Kayleen Smichael, who's re-entered the court. Garzone now. Back to Smichael. Kayleen Smichael for 2. Makes the jumper, and now BCU coming back the other way. Saw a pretty successful screen from Maria Boyko, the freshman, coming in. McDonald to Holden. Holden can't find her way past Garzone. Finds Phillips. Phillips goes for 3, and it's good. Off the backboard and in, and now we've got Garzone. That was Jordan Brooks with the 3. Ava McKenney on the ball. Driving. Can't find her teammate, but the whistle's blown. That's going to be a free throw for the Terps. We're going to see Ava McKenna at the line for the Terps.
She was ranked as number 35 for women's basketball in 2024. So she has got a bit of experience on her belt.
100% the sophomore from McSherrytown, Pennsylvania. Goes 2 for 2 at the line.
Up to 28 points.
Holden now for Bethune-Cookman. Finds McDonald. Can't find her way past Michael. Back to Holden. Holden for 3. Just off the rim, won by Akanawa. There's a couple of oohs in the crowd. A little bit aggressive from between Akanawa and Holden for BCU. The whistle is blown. That is her first personal and first team foul for Akanawa. And it's still going to be BCU ball.
She went down hard.
Yeah, 100%. Here come the Wildcats. Another three-point attempt. No good. McKenna on the rebound. Here comes Garzone. Garzone. Smichael. In and out. It's holding on the ball now. All by herself. 1v4. Gets the basket. Score improves 28-10 with 7 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this second quarter.
Holden has been a strong player for the Wildcats. Her best game was against Albany State with 13 points scored and 6 rebounds.
Yeah, she recently got 10 points in their loss against Florida International, but she's definitely important for this team.
She's definitely racking up their score.
We're going to see Holden again on the ball, calling the shots for the Wildcats. Holden still with the ball. Kim gets past Akanawa, still on the ball, going all by herself. And that's 2 for Holden.
Makes it in despite not having many open teammates around her and a very strong defense from the Terps. So that is one impressive basket.
Yeah, the deficit just keeps getting smaller and smaller between BCU and the Terrapins.
Maybe it took a quarter to realize what they were up against, but they are definitely making their way back up on the scoreboard.
100%. Garzone on the ball. Plays it over, and that is good for Ava McKenna. In the meantime, we saw Brianna Williams check in for the Terps. Holden, once again. Can't find her way past Akanawa. Finds a teammate. Plays it into the middle with Butler. Butler drops it back. 3-point attempt picked up by Kayleen Smichael, who's going the other way. Smichael by herself. And it's good. Kayleen Smichael back to doing what she does best. Already 7 points on the night.
Smichael is typically a player to come around in the second half of the game. Their last game against Princeton, she reached her double digits in the third quarter and had her most impressive plays throughout the fourth quarter, but she is coming in strong early in this game against BCU.
In the meantime, we saw a missed jumper from number 0, Daimani Dorsey, and it's going to be Maryland ball. Returning for the Terps, we're seeing Sailor Poffenbarger and Izzy Ozzy Mamadou coming in. Maria Boyko, the freshman, also checking in. Here's Maryland on the ball right now. Finds Boyko. Poffenbarger. Then Walker. Walker hits it. That's 2 more points for the Terps. BCU ball again. Score is 34-14 with 5 minutes remaining in this second quarter as another 3-point attempt is hit by BCU and missed. As Poffenbarger on the rebound finds Walker. Just playing it back, waiting for a teammate. Here comes Poffenbarger into the center. Kendall Walker dives on the ball, and the whistle's blown. It's going to be a timeout in the second quarter. We've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. The score is 34-14 here on WMUC Radio. We'll be right back. Welcome back with our coverage of second quarter action, Maryland versus Bethune-Cookman. Here is Peter Kelly with some more information.
Yeah, back in the second quarter, media timeout. The Terps still rolling here at the Xfinity Center. They lead this one 34-14. They've certainly been one of the most respected programs in women's college basketball over the last 2 decades. And the repeated success of this program starts and ends with head coach Brenda Fries. In her last 24 seasons at the University of Maryland, she's been ice cold. She's a 2-time National Coach of the Year, 3 Final Fours, 17 top 15 recruiting classes, 14 conference titles, and perhaps the most indicative statistic of her character and presence, Fries' Terps have a 100% graduation rate. She was extended earlier on this year through the 2028-2029 season, and in these early games, Fries has emphasized figuring out her rotations and her chemistry, especially in the musical chairs era of the transfer portal and NIL. And you can see that today with a new starting 5. She opted for redshirt freshman Kendall Walker and Kayleen Smichael, who returns back from her injury, slot into the starting lineup. After the win over Princeton on Sunday, Fries acknowledged the challenges that may arise with so many new players and the blend of old and new blood in the locker room. But she also believes the Terps are getting better every single day in practice and in games. And one thing's for sure, if you've watched Maryland's women's basketball this year, you know that she's right. Despite how good the Terps have been, they're still on the upswing. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Peter. We're about to get underway in our second quarter as this timeout comes to a close. We've got 4 minutes remaining, just above 4 minutes. And it's Maryland ball. Poffenbarger goes for 3, and that's good. Right back into the swing of things, Sailor Poffenbarger. Here comes Jordan Brooks now for BCU. On the ball finds Dorsey. Dorsey just holding it up. Finds Butler. Butler to Brooks. Shot blocked. Now Poffenbarger on the attack. Poffenbarger lays it off to Walker. Smichael now, back to Walker. Walker on her own, whistle's called. It's a personal foul. And it's going to be Maryland ball. Maryland have a 9-0 run right now and just over the past 2 minutes. So they come out with the ball again. And that's 2 points from Iziazi Mamadou. Brooks on the ball. Held up by Walker. Butler wins out. Nowhere to go, it seems, for Butler. She eventually finds a teammate, but it's knocked to the ground by Ozzy Mamadou.
Quite a few on the ground.
2-point attempt missed. That's going to go out of play. seeing a lot of action for freshman Kendall Walker.
Quite a bit.
Beltsville, Maryland. Ball comes back out. And that's Jordan Brooks. Brooks to Butler. And it goes out of play again. Maryland ball.
Brooks has been a strong player for the Wildcats. She's only a sophomore, but she was named a true freshman last year, starting 24 games and playing in 28 contests.
Yeah, she racked up 10 points against FIU last week in just the 17 minutes that she played. We're going to be seeing Kendall Walker taking the ball down for Maryland.
She's number 45 overall, was ranked that last year by ESPN.
Very impressive stuff. Izziazi Mamadou in the meantime, 2 points. Maryland 41, BCU 14, just above 2 minutes remaining.
Mamadou, quite a strong player out there. She started the scoring the last 2 games in the first minute of tip-off.
Yeah, she's somebody to look out for on this Terrapin side. Always causing an impact. So we see Kendall Walker on the ball right now. Out to Poffenbarger. Held up by Brooks. Little bit of a miscommunication, goes out of bounds. Gonna see some substitutions. Mira McLean and Yarden Garzon coming in.
Garzon back in. She has been a very strong asset the entire time that she's been here with the Terps, standing at 6'3". She is now a senior, and she is often noted as an essential part of the team by head coach Freeze.
Yeah, it makes sense. 3 for 4 on field goal attempts tonight. Strong start for Garzon. Finds Poffenbarger all the way across for 3. Bounces out. And that's going to be BCU ball going the other way. A lot of action in the second quarter. It is 41 Maryland, 16 Bethune-Cookman with 2 minutes remaining in this second quarter. We have Brooks on the ball for BCU again. Brooks finds Holden, who's come back on. Holden tries to keep the ball in play, ends up giving it away to Poffenbarger. Presses on. Poffenbarger finds Mira McLean. McLean out to Garzon for 3. Bounces off the rim, rebound. And it's good for Izziazi Mamadou, who's got 9 points on the night. Here comes Brooks for the Wildcats. Brooks to Butler. Butler to Holden. Holden blocked by Poffenbarger, but picked up again once more. Finds Butler. Butler for 2, doesn't make out on the rebound. And now here comes Garzon for Maryland. Whistle is blown for a foul.
Terps are definitely using their height to their advantage. The Wildcats simply can't seem to get around most of them when they're near their basket. I think they're going to need to get a little bit stronger offensively during the second quarter once it starts if they want to keep scoring.
Yeah, 100%. They are 1 for 7 in their last field goal attempts, just showing they're not doing enough offensively. We're seeing Shamari Phillips come on for the Wildcats. Holden on the ball. Gets by Garzon. Finds Dorsey. Dorsey to Butler. Butler to Pitts. Pitts going herself for 2. Bounces off. Maryland on the rebound. Brianna Williams. Williams to Poffenbarger now. Finds Mira McLean. McLean back out to Poffenbarger. Just resetting a little bit. Just under 40 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Maryland still on the ball. Mira McLean going herself for 2. Off the backboard, BCU come up with the ball with Holden. Holden just slowing it down a little bit. Can't really find a way past Maryland's defense, as that's another interception, this time picked up by Williams.
She is back on the ground.
BCU have had 13 turnovers. Really not doing great to decrease this deficit. 43 Maryland, 16 BCU. 20 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
It's not looking too good for the Wildcats this evening.
No, not at all.
However, this is their very first matchup against Maryland.
Yarden Garzon for 3. Doing what she does. Always so impressive as the time just about runs down. That is the end of our second quarter here at Xfinity Center. The score is 16-46, Maryland lead, and we will be back after this halftime. Hello and welcome back to WMUC Radio. I'm Sydney Schwartz alongside Kari McKenna. Our score is 46-16 in Maryland's favor. Peter Kelly, what do you have from us for the sideline?
Yeah, looking back at the first half, Maryland was led by Yarden Garzone with 10 points in the first 20 minutes of play, 4 of 6 from the field, including 2 of 4 from behind the three-point line. Terps as a team shooting 56% from the field, including 21 points off turnovers. On the flip side, Bethune-Cookman, the Wildcats, just 14 turnovers in this game. The Wildcats as a team shooting 29% from the field, 25% from behind the arc. They're led by Madison Holden, who's got 6 points on 3 of 6 shooting, as well as Jordan Brooks, also having 6 points, including going 2 of 2 from behind the three-point line. Looking at the matchups today for both teams, Maryland is going to be determined how far they go this year with the play of their big girls. The biggest positional voice from last year's squad, which reached the Sweet 16, come from down low. Forwards Ali Kubek and Christina Dulce both graduated. Kubek had 9 points a game and 5 rebounds a game, while Dulce contributed 8 points and 8 rebounds a game. So these losses left a lot of questions about who's going to fill out the starting 5 for Coach Freeze. Well, she's still figuring it out, but in the early going, it's been a platoon of Izimeme Azimamadou and Maria Boyko. Azimamadou, the London, England native, redshirted last year after transferring in from junior college Gulf Coast State, where she averaged 17 points a game and 12 rebounds a game her sophomore year. This year in 5 games, she started all 5. She's averaged 9 points a game and 6 rebounds a game. Looking over at the other side for Maria Boyko, the freshman from Minsk, Belarus, is averaging just 5 points and 4 rebounds a game in 5 games this year, all coming off the bench. But Freeze is very high in the Belarusian. She describes her as a very smart and mobile player, and she's very keen towards Freeze's up-tempo offense. Tonight, the Terps starting lineup did not really have a true big. They opted for the big guards in 6'3" Yarden Garzone and the 6'2" Sailor Poffenbarger. Azimamadou comes off the bench for the first time this year, but she's got 8 points on 4 of 7 shooting off the bench, also yanking down 4 rebounds. Maria Boyko has been quiet so far in 8 minutes, no points yet, but 2 rebounds yanked down. And then Brianna Williams, in just 6 minutes, she's got 2 points of her own to add on to 2 rebounds. She's kind of the third string big for the Maryland Terrapins this year, but she's certainly going to get an impact, the redshirt freshman out of Billings, Montana. Regardless of who finds themselves down low for the Maryland Terrapins, for them to go as deep in the march as they'd like, they're going to need consistent production from the blocks. Back to you guys for the second half.
Thank you, Peter. We are getting ready for second half tip-off. It's going to be occurring in about 20 seconds. And again, the current score is 16-46 with the Maryland Terrapins in the lead here at the Xfinity Center. We've got just a few seconds until tip-off.
It's been a pretty formidable start for Maryland so far. 56% from the field, 42% for threes. I mean, compared to what BCU is putting up on the stat sheet, definitely looking in Maryland's favor for the rest of the half.
Definitely, Sydney. I'm expecting them to reach plus 80 points once again for the 6th game this season. And another win under their belts. The ball has come in. Okanawa is blocking that, but is in the Wildcats' possession. Making some clean passes across the court. Dribbling up, getting a bit faster, however, missed the net right there. And there's a Terp down, but she's come right back up. It's that Walker. And the Wildcats have got a free throw. Maybe they'll rack up a few more points. And the crowd gets loud booing against the Wildcats despite her making that basket. Now up to 17 points scored this quarter. This game. And missed that second one, unfortunately. The ball is back into play with Okanawa bringing it right up the court. It's passed over to Walker. She's handed it over to Poffenbarger. And unfortunately, Okanawa missed that pass, and the ball has fallen out of bounds. We are back in BCU's possession. And that ball is going to get handed to, looks like Tyler. being dribbled right back up the field. Or the court.
Seeing Madison Holden for BCU take control for their team, leading with 6 points. Nobody else really coming close. Only 1 and 2 from 2 other teammates, but it's Yard and Garzone for the Terps, leading with 10 points. Coming up next, Michael and Akanawa, each with 7.
Garzon, surely one of the strongest and the tallest player out there right now. And the Wildcats have just scored again. They're up to 19 points. 2 scored right there. Okinawa attempts a 3-pointer, unfortunately misses it off the rim. He's got 2 defenders up against her, but passes it over to Poffenberger. Now in Walker's hands. Attempted a shot, but she ended up on the ground and missed.
It's going to be a foul for Kendall Walker.
And the Terps have got a free throw. Walker is going to be taking those. She misses her first. We'll see how the second goes. And nothing but net right there. Great work by Walker, up to 47 points. Now back in the Wildcats' possession. Strong pass all across the court.
We're going to see McDonald for BCU. Finds Butler. Butler at the rim. And that's 2 for BCU. Poffenbarger going the other way. Kayleen Smeichel, and 1.
Very strong play from Smeichel. It doesn't seem like the Wildcats can keep up with the Terps' speed this evening. With a current score of 49-21. And the Terps are back up for 2 free throws. Smeichel missed right there, and Okenwa ended up on the ground.
Bethune-Cookman foul, number 25, Sinai Tyler. That's her second personal, third team foul.
We've got some substitutions from BCU before we get started back up.
I think we just saw their whole lineup switch.
Yes, we did. Yep, all 5 of them. They're changing their court vision here.
Interesting choice from head coach Janelle Creighton. It's her 5th season with the school.
Not as much experience as Freeze over there, but still 5 years with this group. And Poffenberger just lost the ball, picked it back up, passed it over to Garzon. And Walker's got it now, passes it back to Poffenberger. However, it falls out of bounds as Smeichel missed it. The whistle is blown. And another foul. This is Jordan Brooks' first. The current score is 21-49. We've got 7.5 minutes left in this third quarter. And the Wildcats are currently in possession. However, quickly passed back to the Terps. Walker attempted on the net, but unfortunately missed. The whistle was blown yet again.
Bethune-Cookman really cannot get it out of their side of the court.
Absolutely not. It is not looking good for this last quarter. Half.
It's going to be Kendall Walker once again at the line, shooting 2.
And she makes her first light work out there, up to 50 points. And the second as well. Terps are up to 51 points, and BCU still at 21 during this third quarter. However, the ball is moving a little bit now. Back in Wildcats' possession, they're making it their way down the court. However, 2 players have just fallen again. There have been a lot of players on the ground this evening and a lot of whistles blown, more than usual at a Maryland home game.
That was once again Akanawa on the breakaway. This time she didn't come out with the points, but gets herself the foul, and here she is at the free throw line. Already 7 points on the night.
Okanawa's had a strong game. They've had a lot of free throws this evening. She misses her first. And makes her second, 1 and 2. Ball is quickly back in play. The Wildcats in possession. Some strong passes across the court. We'll see if they can make it into their net. However, it is intercepted by Okanawa. Dribbles it down the field, but it goes out of bounds rather quickly.
BCU cannot stop finding Akanawa with the ball. It's like they're passing to her instead of their own team.
I'm beginning to think they are. She is a defender that they absolutely cannot get around.
Yeah, it's their third turnover in the last, 1 minute?
Yes. However, they've just got 2 more points under their belt, but I don't think they can keep up with the speed of the Terps this evening. They've been in rhythm. And a few more points scored by Poffenberger. Terps up to 54.
Terps are leading by 31 points.
That is quite the deficit. We've got 6 minutes left in this third quarter. However, a 3-pointer by Brooks was just scored. They're up to 26, lowering that deficit as we speak. However, the Terrapins are quick to get their points right back. Garzon just scored a few more for them. We'll see if the Wildcats can keep it on their side of the court for just a minute or more. And they made it in that basket. That was Tyler Butler. 2 more points scored. Now that they're out of that free throw streak, the Wildcats are moving a bit faster and a bit smoother, keeping up with the Terps a little better than before. However, the Terps have made their way back down the court, and Smeichel has scored 2 more. It's back in the Wildcats' possession. Pass to left court, and they're now in the circle. Taking a shot, unfortunately missed, hit the rim, bounced right back. We've got Smeichel again with 2 more points, bringing the Terps up to 60. We've got 4 minutes and 43 seconds left in this third quarter. The score of 60-28, and we are taking a quick timeout. We are still in our timeout here, but we've got our sideline reporter, Peter Kelly, to let us in on some insight. What do you got, Peter?
Yeah, thank you, Kari. The Terps still rolling here at the Xfinity Center. They just won by 32, 60-28. Your score at the third quarter media timeout. Maryland is down some key players early on in the year due to injuries. Bree McDaniel is still working back from an ACL tear she suffered last January. She'll likely start upon her return, but the Chicago, Illinois native still remaining out for the beginning of this year. Also out tonight is Addie Mack, who misses tonight's game after she was named National Freshman of the Week with back-to-back 15-point performances against Towson and Princeton. Out for the season, unfortunately, is Leah Bartelma. The Slovenian freshman tore her left ACL in the second quarter against Towson last Thursday. And freshman guard Rainey Wilson has still missed the last few games. She still remains out tonight. With all that bad news, there is some good news. Kayleen Smeichel got the chance to return to the starting lineup tonight for the first time all season. She made her season debut in the Thursday game against Towson with 13 points and also poured in 13 in the 84-68 win over Princeton on Sunday. The Bayshore, New York native played 2 years at Rutgers, and where she was number 5 in the Big Ten in scoring as a freshman with 18 points a game, including 19.5 points a game in Big Ten play in 2023. She was named to the All-Big Ten second team as a result with the Scarlet Knights. After 2 years with Rutgers, she transferred to UMD, and last year she led the Terrapins in scoring with 17.9 points a game, starting all 33 games. She was named to the All-Big Ten first team, and tonight, back in the starting lineup, she's got 11 points, 5 of 8 shooting from the field. The Terps are certainly lucky to have her back in the starting lineup. If she can come close to last year's form, this team is certainly going to be dangerous. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Peter. And we are back on the court. We are back in action with the Terps in possession. However, the ball is already out of bounds after that timeout. Moved very quickly from Garzon's possession. Off the court. We've got another timeout right here, so we will be right back for some more action on the court. All right, after yet another timeout, 2 back-to-back timeouts, we are back here with you at the Xfinity Center with WMUC Sports. The ball gets thrown in by Garzon, and already points scored seconds in by Williams. ball was intercepted right there by Okenwa. Back in the Terps' possession. Moving quickly with Garzon. However, the ball falls out of bounds right there.
Our score is 62-28 in Maryland's favor. 4 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
That gap is only getting larger, unfortunately, for the Wildcats. But they are still trying their best to get around Maryland's defenders. Okenwa takes the ball very quickly down the court and makes it in the basket once again. That is 2 more points for Maryland.
And just another turnover for BCU.
Unfortunately, they are not dominating the court this evening. However, they are getting the ball to the right side of the court for themselves, and they have some strong passes, but they seem to be struggling to get around Maryland's defenders and get that ball in the net.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for this team. Obviously, coming from a different conference, not the biggest D1 school we're seeing here tonight, or who we're going to be seeing playing Maryland for the rest of the season, but it's good recognition, it's good gameplay.
Very true, very true.
It's a good way to improve.
A tough game will only give them more things to work on at practice, and I'm sure that's something that their head coach is currently thinking about on the sideline. But we've got another free throw for Maryland. Okenwa missed her first. And we've got one more here. And she makes it in the second. Maryland is up to 65 points. That is 65-28. Wildcats are back in possession. And they're consistently doing some long passes across the entire court, and that might be something that the Terps are getting used to defending, unfortunately, despite those passes being clean.
Yeah, it's been very repetitive. Maryland are reading it very well. We've seen Okenwa picking up on the ball just about every single time it happens.
For sure. She picks up on it, and she does not hesitate to dribble it all the way down the court in seconds. However, a three-pointer was just made in the Wildcats' favor. It was by Peters. They're up to 31 points scored. But Okenwa is back with it. However, the whistle was blown. We've got some substitutions coming in, it looks like.
Peter, where's Abby now?
We've got some more free throws for the Terps. They're on quite the streak this game. Okenwa again. She makes it in, not even touching the rim. 66 points now, and we'll see how she does on her second. And right through the basket.
Our score with 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, 67-31. Maryland lead.
67 points sure does sound like they're going to get above 80 in these last 2 minutes and the fourth quarter. Ball's in the Terps' possession. Walker has got it right now. She's looking for an open player. Wildcat defense is strong, however, she passes it right over to McLean, who has been substituted in that last minute or so. They shoot and miss. Wildcat defense seems to be jumbling up. However, it worked in their favor as Maryland did not score any more points there. Wildcats shot and hit the rim, bounced off. Attempted three-pointer, and it misses. Rolls around that rim and does not make it in. And it looks like we've got a substitution for BCU.
BCU, 22 turnovers compared to Maryland's 12.
That is...
Maryland have gotten 30 points from those turnovers.
Goodness. Quite the night for Maryland, but I am sure this is what Freeze was expecting for her team. We've got some more free throws for Maryland. Williams just made her first. She was another who was substituted in. And makes her second very easily. Now probably the tallest player on the court, especially compared to those Wildcats. But the ball is in their possession. Straight pass across the court. And they are struggling to get around all of the Terps, but especially Walker just then.
Nobody really bringing in the firepower for BCU tonight. No players above double digits. Maryland has 3 above 10. Sorry, 4.
Yeah, they're definitely struggling a bit here, but again, this game should be a clear sign of some things to work on for them. And despite playing a team in the Big Ten, they have racked up 31 points, which it could be worse for them this evening.
That's true.
Terps have got possession, bringing it back onto the court. Walker dribbles it a bit, brings it over. In the center of the court here, Walker's looking for any open teammate, passes it. And they've got 2 more points there. The crowd is getting louder as the night goes on. Maryland is at 71 points. They're now 40 above the Wildcats.
That was strong from redshirt freshman Brianna Williams.
Yes, it was.
She's done well. She's got 8 points on the night, 2 for 3 for her field goals.
It was very impressive, especially for a newbie out there. But if there's anything that head coach Freeze knows how to do, it's prep the freshmen for what is to come the next 4 years.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of freshman stars so far for Maryland. Addie Mack, we saw Leah Bartolome before her injury.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, they're both
Maria Boyko
out and injured this evening, but she knows how to train her players, and it pays off with all of these wins. Wildcats just got 2 more points on a free throw. And it is back in the Terps' possession. You can see they're trying to direct each other on the court. And they shoot and score yet again. It was Boyko there that scored 2 points. And we're seeing the Wildcats trying to get around Maryland's defense yet again, but unfortunately the ball fell right out of bounds and missed the net by a mile. We've got the whistle blown again, and the ball comes right back into play. Right back and right back out, unfortunately. Bit of a slow game at times this evening. Attempted 3-pointer by, I think, the shortest player on the Wildcats. Unfortunately missed right there. We've got Walker coming in with the ball for the Terps. A quick play in, a beautiful shot, and 2 points. And we are calling another timeout here. Oh, it is the end of the 3rd quarter. My mistake.
All right, Terp Nation, you know what time it is. It's time for the
And we are going to take it over to our sideline reporter, Peter Kelly, and see what he has for us before our final quarter of the evening.
Thank you, Sydney. As we've reached the end of the 3rd quarter, the Terps still in charge here at the Xfinity Center, leading this one by a score of 75-33. Chipping in tonight for Maryland is Sailor Poffenbarger. She's got 10 points tonight, including going 2 of 5 from behind the 3-point line. The Middletown, Maryland native returned home in 2024, transferring in from Arkansas after her sophomore season with the Razorbacks. Last year, she averaged 9 points a game and 7 rebounds a game, and this year, after 5 games, she's averaging 11 points a game. She comes from a very sporty family. Her brother is the quarterback at North Texas University, and her mother was a standout guard at Missouri. But unfortunately, one member of her family had their life cut far too short. In 2010, Sailor Poffenbarger was just 7 when her 4-year-old brother Fordham Poffenbarger tragically passed away in an ATV accident. Sailor carries on Fordham's legacy. With her grief, she wears the number 6 on her front and back, representing Fordham's birth month of June. Poffenbarger has overcame a lot of adversity to be here today, and she carries on Fordham's legacy with her each day, saying that he is my why. Back to you guys.
All right, party people, thank you so much for bringing your dance moves to College Park tonight. We appreciate you. But
Thank you, Peter, and we will be right back with you all on WMUC Sports for the 4th quarter.
Welcome back to WMUC Radio. I'm Sydney Schwartz alongside Kari, McKenna, and we have your 4th quarter action in Maryland versus Bethune-Cookman. Maryland leads 75-33 at the start of the 4th quarter.
They've already gotten some easy points. This is probably nothing new to the Terps for this evening.
Yeah, we are back at the free throw line.
Spent a lot of time here tonight.
Looks like Ava McKenna has lost her shoe in the process, but
Uh-oh.
back up and ready.
Can see him from here, a nice neon blue.
Makes the first, and Bethune-Cookman are going to come out with the ball with Holden. Butler. Brooks to Butler. Finds Phillips. Phillips now. Past Boyko. Over to Brooks. Misses out. Maryland get the rebound with Amir McLean. Smichael to Garzone. Walker for 3. In and out. And that's BCU on the rebound.
The Wildcats seem to start off their quarters stronger than they can finish them.
Yeah, that seems to have been the story of their night so far. Brooks on the ball for BCU. Now McDonald for 2 off the rim. Can't quite get the rebound, goes out of play. That's a foul on number 5, Ava McKenna for the Terps. It's going to be a BCU free throw. And it's good from Phillips. Phillips again, 2 for 2. Maryland ball. Smichael to Walker. Back to Smichael. McKenna. Boyko. Back to Walker. It's Michael on the ball. That's cut out from Phillips. Phillips on the attack now for BCU. Goes for it, doesn't capitalize, and now it's back on Smichael. Smichael to Walker. McKenna. McKenna finds McLean in the center. Dishes it out to Smichael, goes for three. Misses, but Boyko gets the rebound. That's 2 points for Maria Boyko.
Boyko has had some strong plays every time she is in.
Yeah, true freshman start for her this season. She's done well. Here's Brooks on the ball for the Wildcats. Still Brooks, going herself. In and out, and goes back in for 2 points. Jordan Brooks.
Quite the impressive shot from her. Again, it's been a good night for her. But nothing compared to some of those Terps out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just not enough tonight. Kayleen Smichael on the ball to Boyko. Over to Walker. That's and one. 2 points for Walker, one at the free throw line. Maryland are up 82-37, 7 minutes remaining at the end of this quarter. At the end of this game, I should say.
The sideline surely keeps the Terps energized and enthusiastic after most of their points scored. The entire sideline is up on their feet cheering, including head coach Freeze.
It's Kendall Walker at the line. Misses, but nearly gets the rebound. It's out for BCU ball. Like you were saying, I think complacency is definitely something this Maryland team really does not struggle with under Freeze. They continue to stay motivated. They continue to work, even when they're leading teams by 30, 40 points. Over 80 in this game so far.
For sure. Starters have said after multiple games that it is truly a sisterhood out there, and I think you can see it on the court.
Definitely. Here's Brooks for the Wildcats. Brooks past Walker. Gets the shot off. Not quite sure if it counts there, though. But it's going to be a foul for BCU. Brooks on the ball. A little bit of a mix-up between players on BCU, just tumbling into each other.
A lot of moments down tonight.
Yeah.
More than usual, I would say.
It's been pretty slippery. Here comes Brooks. Brooks by one, by two. And that's 2 points for her. Maryland coming the other way with McKenna. McKenna to Walker. Back to McKenna. Over to Frate, who's come in. Nice to see her back out there in this fourth quarter. We're going to see Brooks coming up for BCU. Brooks over to Pitts. Pitts off the board, and whistle's blown. Six minutes ago, Maryland lead 82-39 in this fourth quarter.
They have officially scored more than 80 points in every game that they've played this season.
It's a great statistic. I'm sure Brenda Freese is very happy about that one.
A very strong statistic.
BCU are at the free throw line. Makes the first. Got one more to go. This is Pitts for BCU. Dariaja Pitts does not get the second one. Maryland on the ball. Kendall Walker. Walker gives the ball away. Here comes Parks for BCU, and whistle's blown, but this time a turnover from Maryland, adding to their total of 14 compared to BCU's 23.
Quite the difference there, and unfortunately it shows on the scoreboard in more ways than one.
This is going to be Jade Parks at the line for BCU. Shooting 2 and misses the first. Parks has no points on the night, but has not been in for very long, so I'm sure that can change quite quickly as she makes her second free throw.
Now only 41 points behind the Maryland Terrapins.
Here's McKenna. McKenna, pass 1, pass 2. Over to Walker.
She's very fast on her feet.
Yeah, there's a lot of quick players on this Maryland team. Over to Kendall Walker, one of those quick players. McLean. Clean for 2.
She makes it look very clean.
So easy for her. This is BCU. It's Brooks. Brooks on McLean. Brooks just looking to get by her, finds a teammate.
Struggling to find an open teammate. If they could make that play a bit faster, it would have gone much better.
And that's going to be a whistle for backcourt. Just off the leg of Jade Parks.
We've got 5 minutes left here in the fourth quarter of the game this evening. The score is 84-41.
This is Walker for Maryland. Walker to Boyka, or Fertea. Fertea for 3. And that's her first 3 points on the night. The whole Terrapin bench is up for her.
Crowd is going wild. Even the band.
BCU now. Blocked. Given away now to McLean. McLean holding it up a little bit. Over to Walker. Walker to, now it's back to Walker from McKenna. Double dribble from Walker, and it's going to be BCU ball. Seeing another substitution, we're going to see Iziazi Mamadou come in. But before that, we're going to see a timeout. It is 87-41 with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We'll be right back on WMUC Radio.
And we are already back. We have some notes from our sideline reporter, Peter Kelly. What do you have for us right now during this timeout?
Thank you, Kari. Just on our final media timeout here at the Xfinity Center, the Terrapins comfortably out in front, 87-41 here on WMUC Sports Radio. I'm Peter Kelly. Kari, McKenna, and Sydney Schwartz on the call tonight and doing a great job. Terps lead this one by 46. It looks like they're going to go to 6-0 after tonight. Looking down the road for the Terps, this Sunday the Terps will take on the George Mason Patriots at 2:30 here at Xfinity. The Patriots, a tournament team last year, they won their conference, the Atlantic 10. They were an 11 seed in the NCAA tournament. This year they're 4-1 and coming off of a 17-point win over Florida Gulf Coast yesterday. Next week, the Terps will be giving thanks for the sunny weather and beaches of San Juan, Puerto Rico, as they take on the Discover Puerto Rico Classic, including the marquee game of that tournament, Wednesday at 5:30. They take on ranked the number 20 Kentucky Wildcats, the tournament team last year, a 4 seed last year, made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. And this year, they're out to a 6-0 start. Last time out on Tuesday, they beat Purdue, a team that Maryland will see this year, by 31 points. So certainly an impressive start for the Kentucky Wildcats. The Terps will see them down in Puerto Rico. And then on Thanksgiving Thursday, the Maryland Terrapins take on the Pride of Hofstra at 3 p.m. Pride sitting at 1-2, and their last time out on Saturday, they lost to the Penn Quakers 67-55. They're back home for one more non-conference game, December 3rd versus Mount St. Mary's after the Puerto Rico trip, before the conference opener December 7th. Up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, they're taking on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. That's all I've got. We'll get this one finished up for you. Just got 4.5 minutes to go. I'll kick it back to you guys on WMUC Sports Radio.
Thanks so much, Peter. And now we're going to take that break. We will be back shortly. A very short break, and we are back with WMUC Sports. We've got just about 4 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock in this fourth quarter after this media timeout. Maryland lead 87-41. Their largest lead being 46 points, as we've seen in this fourth quarter. It's Holden on the ball. Holden to Butler. Nobody really stepping, but Butler finds Holden again. Looking to take on Walker. Holden for three. Off the rim and into the hands of Brianna Williams. Going Maryland's way. It's Kendall Walker. Walker to McLean. McLean looking for Ozzy Mamadou, who just misreads her teammates' cues a little bit and plays it out of bounds. It's going to be BCU ball. Holden, once again, 6 points on the night for Bethune-Cookman as it goes out of bounds once again. Seeing Jordan Brooks enter the court once again, taking off Holden. So they're trying to play it inbounds. Here's Brooks. Over to Phillips. This time finds Dorsey. Dorsey crossing up.
Again, strong passes, but she struggles to keep it. They cannot get around that Maryland defense.
Yeah, it's the final product that's just slipping away from Bethune-Cookman a little bit in this game. That was on Tyler Butler, as it is Maryland's ball now with Kendall Walker finding McKenna. Into the center for McLean. Whistle is blown. Going the other way with Brooks. Brooks over to Phillips. Phillips goes for two, off the rim. Rebound found by McLean, and now it's Kendall Walker. Over to McKenna on the left-hand side. McKenna, back to Walker, back to McKenna. Goes herself, and two. 2 points for Ava McKenna.
A beautiful play that has officially made the Terps this their most scoring game this season. Their previous one was against Towson with 88 points scored. We are now at 89 with 2.5 minutes left.
A well-deserved point deficit for Maryland. We just saw a three-pointer from Shamari Phillips for Bethune-Cookman. Now Maryland's ball with McKenna. McKenna to McLean, nearly intercepted, finds her just in time. That's Ozzy Mamadou in the center now. Goes herself, gets her own rebound.
Looks like volleyball for a minute there.
Almost, as Kendall Walker just puts it in.
Up to 91 points.
Bethune-Cookman, home stretch. Not giving up their momentum, though. Finding Butler. Butler over to Phillips, and that's blocked from Mir McLean. Walks away like that was nothing. Nicole Forte is going to come in for McLean there.
For the last minute and a half of this game.
Strong night for McLean.
For sure.
5 rebounds in her 17 minutes of play. Very decent stuff. It's going to be BCU's ball coming in. Inbound to Brooks. Brooks to Phillips. Three-pointer, and it's good.
Very nice from
That
the
was
Wildcats.
Daimani Dorsey. It's Ava McKenna. McKenna to Brianna Williams now for Maryland. Williams is going herself. Whistle's blown. That's going to be a foul. We've just over a minute remaining. The score is 91-46, Maryland lead. Looking forward to their next two outings. Maryland will take on George Mason November 23rd, and then later on in the Discover Puerto Rico Classic, number 20 Kentucky. Williams makes her first. Doesn't close out on the second, and Butler gets the rebound over to Brooks. Just under a minute now.
We'll see if the Wildcats are able to score in this last minute or so.
Three-point attempt is good. Shamari Phillips now.
Lowering that deficit just a little bit before the end of this game.
Fratea for Maryland. Williams. Williams going by herself. Gets the points and the foul call. 30 seconds left now. 94-49. Very high scoring game, even by Maryland standards. As you said, Kari, their highest amount of points scored so far this season.
Very high. The odds are low with only 30 seconds left, but we'll see if they can make it in the triple digits.
They're on their way. Williams made her first and only. Now it's going to be BCU ball. Brooks. Leading the lines for Bethune-Cookman tonight, Jordan Brooks.
She has nowhere to go with that ball, with a strong defense and not any open teammates.
Yeah, doing her best, but nearly gets the shot off, finds the teammate. Three-point attempt is missed, and it's Maryland ball. They're just going to run out the clock. And that's the end of our game time tonight. Your final score, 95 Maryland to Bethune-Cookman's 49. I would say a very strong outing for Maryland. What do you think?
It was a very strong outing, Sydney. I'm sure head coach Brenda Fries will be going home very happy tonight. She has well over 500 winning games under her belt, and this is just another impressive one added to the list.
Yeah, it's so impressive from Brenda Fries, and I mean, Maryland are just going to continue on this track for what seems the rest of the season.
Absolutely. She is no rookie, and she is not leading a single rookie on that court.
Great momentum for Maryland as they move into some of their more difficult games later in the season.
For sure. And thank you so much. We are Kari McKenna and Sydney Schwartz alongside sideline reporter Peter Kelly. And we are going to be wrapping it up this evening. Thank you so much for listening. Again, we are WMUC Sports Radio in College Park, and we will see you next time.
Good night.